All right, before we start getting into the next phase, I can kind of share with you this little path, we'll call it. And I guess you can equate this to a video game, okay? So in a video game, you learn a certain skill, and that skill gets over and over. Let's say I use a sword in a video game. I start now getting Sword Mastery 1, Sword Mastery 2, Sword Mastery 3. I could start using different swords. Okay? I could start using then I'd have to go back and learn bow and getting Bow Mastery 1, Bow Mastery 2, Bow Mastery 3, and then I could start using different bows. Okay? So this idea carries through everything that we look at in anything in our life. Okay, it's an easy way to kind of look at it. That's why I never, when a student says I play video games, like play more, just keep playing. It'll pay off. So we have to look at our next kind of like where are we after we get a tool. So in this case, like those last couple videos were, just understanding that you need a computer, okay? And when you have one, do you have a Mac or PC? Do you have money or no money? And then what option can you take? In this case, I'll give you an example. I have a computer, it's a PC. I don't have a whole lot of money. I'm going to have to go to open source software because I can't afford Adobe. And now this is where we're at. Okay, for those individuals that have that. So this video is practice pieces. And a practice piece is what I would have gave you as an assignment. Okay? It's a piece that you do just because you want to learn something. So you have to kind of set yourself a goal and say, "Hey, I'm going to, develop maybe a trifold just because I have new software now, and how do I do that?" This part right here is, I would say, 90% of the time the hardest thing that you have to do, because you have to motivate yourself to do it. Okay? Why am I practicing? What am I practicing? What do I need in order to do it? Okay? So it would literally be taking those software packets that I go through in a video and playing with them to the point where I can now do the same amount of skill work that I did before. You already knew Illustrator. Like you went through the entire course, you probably know every aspect of Illustrator that's useful. Now, how would I do that in Inkscape? So first identify what the softwares do, if that was the case, and then try to mimic what you did before in one of them. That would be your step in your path. Okay? And for these people right here, I would say that it's a pretty substantial path, but what happens is you already knew Adobe. Now you're just not relearning, because the buttons are kind of the same. It's the look of it that students have a hard time getting over, because open source software doesn't look as pretty as Adobe, that's for sure. But it still, again, functions, and the client never knows, because we have to get to this path. Okay, finding a print house. And it all flows into this right here before we start getting the idea of clients. We have to practice, find a print house, find a template that provided by that print house, and then maybe order and ship one product to yourself to gain confidence. And once you do get to here, I would say just doing it 3 times, but if you can't afford to do that, and this could be just a shirt, this could be a trifold, this could be like a business card, doesn't matter what this is. If you can get it from here to here, where you're shipping it to yourself and seeing the end product, you now have the confidence to start going these 3 routes. So this video is just to illustrate practice pieces. What are they? What is that? You have software. Now you're going to have to resource a few things like YouTube, for example. And I'll just, you know what? I'll just show you. Because, again, they are open source, they are available. Look how many Inkscape tutorials there are. And look how well some of them look. They look very professional as far as like a given assignment, because there's so many individuals that have access to the software because it's free. Better content is made. So, basic drawing, look at that. You're no longer a student, you're graduated. It's time to, like, you know, take ownership of your own learning, and then all that is like, I have a passion for something, I'm going to learn it because I want to, instead of having somebody making you learn it. Cool. So there we go. That's the path of practice pieces. Let's move on to finding a print house and what that looks like.